If you're in the market for an affordable watch, you've probably considered buying one on Amazon. Amazon's a great place to buy watches, especially if you're looking for something affordable, but the problem is if you type in watches for men in the Amazon search bar, you're gonna get about 30,000 results. Some of them are high quality brands, some of them are great choices, but there's also a lot of weird micro brands and low quality fashion watches that you want to avoid. You don't have time to sift through all of those options, so in this video, I'm going to break down some of the best watches that you can buy on Amazon right now, and we'll even break them down into different categories for your convenience. Before we get into it, quick thanks to today's sponsor, Mack Weldon. With most things in life, I'm a relatively modest guy. I don't go to fancy restaurants very often. I don't wear designer clothing or drive a nice car. My last car was a 20-year-old Honda Accord with 200,000 miles on it. But when it comes to underwear, I want the very best. To be perfectly honest, I'm an underwear snob. It feels good to say that out loud. Now, I've tried many underwear brands, from multi-packs that you buy at the department store to high-end designer stuff that costs $50 a pair that's made out of baby unicorn fibers. And right now, I believe that Mack Weldon is making some of the best underwear money can buy. Mack Weldon is a premium men's essentials brand that's on a mission to make sure all of your basics are smartly designed and easy to acquire. This brand places a huge emphasis on comfort. They want to make clothes that can be worn to work, to the gym, on dates, working from home, or anywhere else that life is going to take you. And they do this by using innovative fabrics that are light years beyond your basic cotton that's used to make most men's underwear. For example, their silver underwear is a blend of premium Supima cotton and antimicrobial silver XT2. It's a material that's been used by NASA, Olympians, and US Special Forces to keep people fresh in the harshest environments. Right now, my apartment and to-do list are the harshest things that I'm dealing with, but hey, even at home, you want to be comfortable, and you always want to look good in your underwear. Mack Weldon also has a free loyalty program called Mack Weldon Blue that gives you free shipping on all orders, and then extra perks once you spend more than $200, like 20% off orders, exclusive access to newly released products, and free gifts. I personally really like Mack Weldon's AirKnit X boxer briefs. I think they're the perfect length for everyday wear, and the material is so soft, they don't ride up at all, and they're just extremely comfortable. They also look great, and you can definitely work out with them too. If you want to try Mack Weldon for yourself, visit mackweldon.com/modestman and use the code modestman to get 20% off your first order. Enjoy. All right, so let's talk about watches. And by the way, sorry about the mess over here. I'm actually moving soon, so my place is like half packed up. I'm in that weird transition, but yeah, hopefully once I get into the new place, I'll have like a nice, clean new studio setup, so stay tuned for that. So to kick it off, let's talk about the best field watches on Amazon. If you had a watch as a little kid growing up, chances are it was a field watch. These watches have military roots, and most of them can handle a somewhat adventurous lifestyle. They're usually pretty minimal in design, usually on the smaller side, and they're great for anybody who just wants one solid casual watch. First up, we have the Citizen Eco Drive Chandler. This is a relatively small watch at 37 millimeters. The dial is uncluttered. It has a date complication, super easy to read. It's basically everything you need in a casual watch and nothing that you don't. Plus, the Eco Drive movement means you don't have to worry about changing out the batteries because this watch is powered by the sun. Another legendary field watch is the Seiko SARB 017 Alpinist. This is definitely a polarizing watch. You're either going to love it or hate it. It's got this deep green dial and these gold accents and this brown leather strap. So it's kind of a weird watch, but a lot of people really like it. I personally love the way it looks. It's also a relatively small watch at sub 40 millimeters, and it's got 200 meters of water resistance. So it's a great universally pleasing size. And this watch was discontinued and replaced with a higher end version, the Prospex Alpinist, but you can still find this original SARB 017 readily available on Amazon, depending on where you live. Next up, we have the watch that I'm wearing right now, the SNK 809, also from Seiko. And I really believe that this is one of the best automatic watches under $100. It's kind of like a blend between a field watch and an aviation watch. 37 millimeter compact case, little crown tucked in at the 4 o'clock position. It's got a see-through case back so you can geek out on the automatic movement. The stock strap kind of sucks, but just put it on a rubber strap or a nicer canvas nylon strap and you have yourself a great everyday casual watch. I did a whole review on this watch, which I will link to down below in the description. All right, let's talk about some great sports watches on Amazon. So if you're like a runner or a cyclist or an active person, or even in the military or law enforcement, these watches are for you. They usually have digital faces and rubber straps, so they're usually built for durability. They also have timing features and alarms and LED backlights, and they're really an exercise in function over form. First up, we have the Casio G-Shock, and we'll talk about two different ones. There are a lot of different G-Shocks on Amazon, so you should be able to find one that fits your aesthetic and your needs. The first one is the GBD 800 UC-5, kind of a mouthful, but this is one of the toughest watches on the market. This one is kind of like a blacked out version. It's really big at 51 millimeters, so it's not great for people with smaller wrists, but it's crazy. I mean, it can track 31 time zones. This thing is bulletproof. You could take it anywhere and it's gonna probably outlast you. Now, if you're a G-Shock fan but you have a smaller wrist, check out the DW 5600. So compared to the last one, this one is relatively small at 45 millimeters. It's still a big watch. I mean, it's still a G-Shock. It's still got that black resin case and all the alarms and timers. So it really is a good option if you really want a G-Shock, but you do have more of a slender wrist. And next up, we have another Seiko, the Seiko SRPD 55K1. So I'm including this in the sports watch category, but it's really more of a diver. This is an automatic stainless steel watch, and this replaced the discontinued SKX line. It doesn't have a screw down crown, so it's only got 100 meters of water resistance, so I guess it's not as much of a true diver as the SKX 007 or 013, but it is a good looking dive style watch, and so if you like that style and you don't care too much about actually taking it scuba diving, this could be a great choice for you. It also comes in a bunch of different colors, so you should be able to find something that matches your style. Speaking of dive watches, let's talk about some of the best divers on Amazon. I don't know why there's something so cool about dive watches. I've personally never been scuba diving, but I still just love the style of dive watches. My first, I guess, real watch, like automatic, was the SKX 013, and I still have it, and I don't know, there's just something so cool about watches that can be submerged, even if you don't actually submerge them. First up, we have the Seiko SRP 777 Prospex Automatic Diver. This watch is affectionately known as the Turtle, and it's the real deal when it comes to affordable dive watches. This is an automatic diver. It uses Seiko's 4R36 movement, which is an upgrade from the 7S26 that's used in so many Seikos. It's got 200 meters water resistance and a day-date complication, which is really handy for everyday use. The 777 comes on a black resin strap, but you can find versions that come on a steel bracelet if that's more your style. This watch is 44 millimeters in diameter, so make sure you're comfortable with a larger watch. And if we're talking about affordable divers, we have to talk about Citizen. Specifically the Citizen BN0151 ProMaster Dive Watch. This is a stainless steel 43mm EcoDrive powered dive watch with 200 meters water resistance. It has a very attractive dial, in my opinion, with a date window tucked away at the 4 o'clock position. The 151 follows a blue colorway, which is perfect for wearing with jeans on the weekend. And the rubber strap has a decompression chart built in, which is a cool little feature, especially if you actually go diving. And if we've talked about Seiko and Citizen, we also have to talk about Orient. Specifically, the Orient Kamasu. I think that's how it's pronounced. I might be putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable, but I'm pretty sure it's the Orient Kamasu. This is a little smaller at sub 42 millimeters in diameter. It's stainless steel, automatic in-house movement, and it comes in several different colorways, all of which look great in my opinion. But these are legitimate divers with 200 meters water resistance, and the in-house automatic movement is hacking, so when you pull the crown out, the second hand will stop moving, so you could set it exactly to another time source. It's also hand winding, so it's really cool to have those little technical features at this price. All right, let's move on to another style. Let's talk about the best aviation style or pilot's watches you can get on Amazon. Used by military and civilian pilots alike, these watches could tell a pilot the time and speed they were traveling at with a few simple calculations. One of the coolest pilot's watches on Amazon is the Hamilton Khaki Aviation. Hamilton is a really cool brand because it's got a lot of American heritage, but it's owned by a Swiss company, so these are Swiss-made watches at really incredible price points. This Swiss-made automatic watch features a 42mm stainless steel case and a brushed steel bracelet. This watch also has a date complication, which is kind of rare for aviation style watches, so you can see the date of the month at the 6 o'clock position and then the day of the week at 12 o'clock. So the Hamilton is a relatively simple, relatively minimal aviation watch. On the other side of the spectrum, we have this watch from Seiko. This is the SNA 411 P1 Pilot's Chronograph watch. It's also known as the Flight Master, and it's one of the most respected quartz pilot's watches. The diameter is 42mm, but it does have a short lug to lug, so you could definitely wear it on a average or maybe even smaller than average wrist. The built-in slide rule bezel can help you calculate everything from speed to fuel consumption to how much to tip your waiter. You can also set an alarm, track an additional time zone, or time your laps at the track. An alternative to this Seiko is the Citizen Nighthawk. This is another modern 42mm aviation style watch. It's also a very busy dial, but some people really love it. Like that Seiko, this one also features an internal slide rule, which is a really cool complication, especially if you actually learn how to use it. And you can also track an additional time zone, which is useful obviously for pilots, but also frequent travelers. Okay, let's move away from the busy sports watches and let's talk about dress watches. I think even if you only wear a suit a few times a year, it could make sense to have a dress watch in your collection. And also these dress watches are easy to dress down, so it's a lot easier to take a formal watch and dress it down than it is to take a casual watch and dress it up. So, even if you have a one watch collection or a two watch collection, it could make sense for one of them to be one of these dress watches. First up, we have the Hamilton Jazzmaster Viewmatic automatic watch. Hamilton very rarely disappoints, and this is an example of just a whole lot of value packed into a really beautiful, relatively minimal watch. This one is 40mm in diameter, so it's kind of on the bigger side for a dress watch, but it is very thin. It's just 8mm thick, so it'll slide right under the cuff of any dress shirt. And it's powered by the always reliable Swiss ETA 2824-2 movement. Another really cool dress watch you can get on Amazon is the Seiko Presage Cocktail Sidecar. I mean, first of all, how about that name? It makes me feel like I'm at a speakeasy. I'm not even wearing the watch. This is a slightly chunky profile for a dress watch because it's 40mm in diameter, 14mm thick, but a lot of that is just due to the boxed domed crystal, so it'll still slide under the cuff of your dress shirt. The champagne sunburst dial is going to look really cool no matter what kind of lighting conditions you're under. It's going to really stand out and kind of sparkle as you move your wrist around. My favorite part about this watch is the power reserve indicator. I think it's just a really cool complication to have on any watch, and I really like the way that they did it. It's almost like you have this like GMT hand, but it's a power reserve indicator. So it just, I don't know, it's a cool complication, and it's also practical because it lets you know how long your watch will keep ticking if you stop wearing it. Of course, we have to talk about the Orient Bambino. No one's surprised that this is on the list. It's a legendary watch, and Amazon is a great place to buy a Bambino. This is just a beautiful looking watch. It's an in-house automatic movement, so it's just a whole lot of value for the price. There's a few different versions of the Bambino, a lot of different colorways, so you should be able to find something that you like, but they all kind of have that same like super classy vibe. And I think that this watch is almost like meme status. It's so popular. It's always mentioned on any list of affordable watches, but I think that its place is well deserved. And finally, to round out this list, I want to talk about a couple value watches, which are, watches that are just super affordable and kind of fun that you can find on Amazon anytime. They're always in stock. The first one is the Casio World Time. I especially like the gold version of this watch. Obviously, it's not for everybody, and, you can't wear this watch and try to play it off like an actual gold watch. It's a pretty cheap, affordable watch, and it's just fun. It's retro, and I think if you wear this, you kind of have to wear it in that way. It's probably not the best watch to wear like out to a club or to a wedding or something, but on the weekend with shorts and a t-shirt, it's great. And my second value pick is the Timex Weekender chronograph. If you're looking for an affordable, understated, but just as functional chronograph, I think Timex did a great job here. This 40mm quartz-powered watch Comes in a few different colorways. I actually really like the all black version. I think it's super cool. It's going to go with pretty much any outfit, but they also have a blue dial version that comes on a brown leather NATO strap. That's going to be better for guys with more of like a rugged or preppy aesthetic. So as you can see, if you're shopping for an affordable watch, Amazon is a great place to start. They have a wide range of watches, so no matter what style you're looking for, what kind of movement, what size, you're going to find something that suits your needs on Amazon. I think the hardest part about shopping for watches on Amazon is just sorting through all of the kind of lower quality stuff, the fashion watches, because there are just so many options. But hopefully this list helps you narrow down your choices. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below in the comments section. And if you have any suggestions for great watches that can be purchased on Amazon, let me know in the comments. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time, stay stylish.